Hey guys, welcome back. So we're going to do kind of how they dried and kind of a review on what I think about the Arteza 4x4 canvases so far. So the first thing on the how they dried is my mixed media piece. As you can tell, it looks great. I did go ahead and varnish it with the Liquitex Basics. I pretty much just poured some on and then maneuvered it around everything. And then I took a light little brush stroke and did on top of everything. So all the metal pieces, all of the hot glue pieces, all of that. So it is nice and shiny. It has 2 coats of the Liquitex varnish on it. So I really like this piece. It turned out great. Can't wait to take pictures of it and post it up. So that piece is dry. Let me slide it back here. Okay, so then we have our Arteza 4x4 canvases that came with the little wooden easels in the pack of, I think it was 14 that we got. Now most of them seem to do decent. Well, every one of them have some slight issue, but some of them not as bad as others. So the sides of these are glued, not taped, for the Arteza ones. And you know this because the glue comes on the back and it was still rather sticky when I opened them. So on the blue ones, most of it stayed in place. The corner of this one, it doesn't come down even, and it's moved back, so there's like a gap there. And then this, you can see where it started to peel up as the paint dried. And the same thing on this side. And I don't really care about the sides. I could paint that and it wouldn't show. But the problem is it causes it to warp up around when it loosens from down here, and it messes with the front of your canvas. So now I have this line here and over here where it came loose. And this one's like an obvious, really light line. You can't really see because of the lighting, but so that was one of the ones that it didn't mess with as bad. This one stretched out a little bit. You can see a little bit of the lines where it's peeled over the side some. But again, not as bad. Now the 2 that I did red with the yellow and black, this side over here bubbled up quite a bit. Like I can push it down, you can see where it bubbled up, and I can move it. But again, not that bad. I can touch that up. This one, on the other hand, completely peeled off of the side. The canvas completely came apart. And then it stretched up the top. So I'm going to have to try to re-stretch it and glue it back and hope that I can pull it tight enough for it not, and it did the same thing on this side. It's bubbled up under here. You can push it down and you can see where it bubbled up and pulled. So those are my 2 issues so far with the Arteza smaller canvases. This one doesn't even go all the way to the corner where it's bubbled up, so I'm going to have to fix that as well. And just tighten it and glue it down. And hopefully I'll be able to pull this down far enough and stretch it, because there's not much leeway. But, so that's these, for anybody that wants to know exactly which ones I purchased. It's the box of Arteza 4x4 mini canvases with 6-inch easel. It's the classic, and it says back glued, but there is none on the back. It's side glued. There is no canvas on the back for it to be back glued. And just so you know, it's not just those. This is how they come, and there is actually no canvas on the back anywhere. They're side glued. Also worth mentioning is this one has a hole in it. I don't know if you can see it with that light, but there's actually a hole in the canvas right there. You can see when I turn sideways a little bit. So that, you know, Even though they're boxed nicely with the easels and the canvases together, it just kind of makes for an easy way to have damaged pieces. So yeah, so that's my review so far for these. All of them had small little places where it mishapped, but for the most part, they're fixable. I just have to worry about this one. But I do like the Arteza paints. They're much more vivid than some of the other paints that I've worked with. The colors are really vivid. That ultramarine blue and that phthalo green are gorgeous, but definitely the ultramarine blue. And the first red one I did, actually I think this was the second red one. This was the second one. The yellows and reds stayed really vibrant in this one. Whereas this one, I think I mixed the black in and it made more orange and it kind of dulled it. But I'm thinking that once we varnish it, it'll come out some. But I also don't know how this one's going to work because I have 3 sides that I have to stretch back out and try to fix. So if this one doesn't work, we'll just take the canvas off of the wood and we'll do some kind of little project, maybe a coin purse or something with it. So I'm going to find a way to do it regardless. And then back here we have the stones that I did, and something I didn't think about when I was putting them on the popsicle sticks so that I could move them off of the canvases is that they would dry onto the popsicle stick, but it's not that bad. You just peel it off at the back a little bit. So they're pretty. They've dried very well. So we're going to start taking all of these off. And then before I put the magnets on them, this one I missed a spot, so I'll have to repaint that. But before we add the magnets to them in another video, we will varnish them and let that dry, and then we'll add magnets. So they dried pretty well. Here's a set of the blue ones. Well, if I can get them up. Here's a set of the blue ones. Hopefully you can see that detail. I really like this one and this one a lot. But yeah, so there's some really nice ones here, and we're going to work on those in the next video. So be sure to keep an eye on this channel. We've got a lot of fun projects coming up, and I hope you enjoy it.